Hi, my name is Sheila Corona. Welcome to Sassy Seer Sheila. I'm going to pick right up with session number 14, page 53, if you're following along in the book, with a handbook for the new paradigm, volume 1. Today's date is August 15th, 2023. A new day begins in the lives of those residing upon this planet. Does this sound beyond imagination? No, indeed. The desire for what is entirely different creates a new vibratory opening. This indicates there have been others who have contemplated this possibility. The pieces of the puzzle have not been in their proper places before. In order for the chances of success to be at their greatest potential, certain sequential events and circumstances must be in pivotal positions. The mass conscious. Okay, so I heard in my head, this is why every nudge has to be followed, even if it doesn't make sense, because you don't know what else that may be happening that would seem like it's out of sequence, but actually is not. I don't know if that made any sense, but that's what I just got in my head. So back to the book. The mass consciousness of the planet has to reach a particular level of both knowledge and truth, and a level of frustration within the feelings of resistance to recognizing the changes coming upon them. Yes, I would agree with that. And as a matter of fact, I'm gonna repeat that for my own, if not for everybody else. The mass consciousness of the planet has to reach a particular level of both the knowledge of the truth and a level of frustration within the feelings of resistance to recognizing the changes coming upon them, which many would say, what are you talking about? But I know I see them. There is present within those, with the advantage of media communication, the awareness of the repressive process. But as yet, they are in the denial stage. Even that is giving way to the suffocating feeling of the inner presence. Inner and presence are both capitalized. That is being physically repressed. Well, I know I was running so hard from my inner presence that I lay at death's door for over 10 years practically. So, I recognize that now. I do feel also there was something else going on with that, but at its core, that's what that was. You think of this as being a mind control game they are playing. But I tell you, it is deeper than that. It is designed to imprison the inner self, which then causes the brain to slow, and the mental sleep process appears as a symptom. If it were only a process of stupor at the mind level, then you could have all been drugged into sleep long ago. That is not the object of the process. I didn't even think about that, y'all. I swear this is telling that it is not the human being that they're after. It is the inner self. That's what this feels like this is saying. I'm gonna read this again. You think of this as being a mind control game they are playing, but I tell you it is deeper than that. It is designed to imprison the inner self, which then causes the brain to slow. I know it did mine. And the mental sleep process appears as a symptom. If it were only a process of stupor at the mind level, then you could have all been drugged into sleep long ago. That is not the object of the process. What would that prove to the creator? What is at stake is the proof of superiority through the capture and diversion of the soul energy and the enslavement of those of particular energy matrix. At a certain point of the negative plan, those who have served them so faithfully will be among the first to be abandoned, for they have already proved their corruptibility. Their ideal slave has a different matrix entirely. Wow. If their plan is to continue the game into larger foci of power, then of what use are sleeping slaves? How then do the planners of this escapade locate the ones of value to them? Would it be the ones that do not fall under the spell of their concerted efforts? Just whom do you think that identifies? Indeed, the stakes are high for each of you personally. Does this description fit? Why else have you been allowed to continue in the business of pointing fingers at who they are and what they are doing? These comments are not to instill fear into you, but to give you the greatest possible understanding of the situation that is now in front of you, indeed upon your plates. If you have no place to go except through, no, not if, it says say you have no place to go except through this experience. This is a short message, but it is one to be added to the previous knowledge. Let us consider it the leavening of the bread to lift your intent to an even greater focus. Know that all this is given with the greatest love, for you are more valuable to the light than to them. You are our key to the lock that now holds the totality of this planet in prison. I know that that's been the thoughts of many, 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 many beings, that this is a prison planet, that we have a quarantine. And I still don't know how I feel about that. I haven't, I no longer jump headlong into believing anything anybody say. Okay. I listen to it. I take it in. I feel everyone's sharing, through their experiential filter. So I allow it to come through mine, and I take what actually feels right and then allow the rest to move along. So we're going to jump right into number 15 here, which is page 54 if you're following along in the book. There is within the organization of those negative intentions for this planet and their contacts with the extraterrestrials masterminding the entirety of this planned raping of Earth, a good deal of miscommunication. Each has their separate agenda. Well, isn't that always true? I mean, all you have to do is watch any crime drama where there's more than one criminal involved, and you see that everybody's got an agenda. Everybody. Each has plans of reaching their clandestine goals at the expense of the other. Herein lies a vulnerable point in their coordinated effort. It is like two pieces in a puzzle that almost, but not quite, fit together. I've said for a long time that the cabal, as people have called them, are fractured, and they're actually doing a lot of infighting amongst themselves. I do feel like that's kind of what this is describing here. Back to the book. In as much as we look at situations in terms of holographic energy composites or matrix pictures, we are able to determine points of vulnerability. So the point of this is that there is not a united effort within their reality of experience. The second weakness in their methodology is that of feeding upon the negative energy that is created by the competition that is encouraged within their organization. Yeah, that's very interesting. I'm being shown some things that I have said before. There's mind control and programming on both sides of the aisle here. There's no one has escaped any of that. Even those that, we want to label as evil or the opposite side or the adversaries or whatever, they too, the ones that are here incarnate, are following what they think, what they've been programmed to believe is the best course of action. That's my feeling on it. I have no idea how and what they've been told over eons and generations of that sort of thing. Nobody does. Nobody really knows there's been hints of the levels of depravity that those people have been exposed to be able to perpetrate the things that they perpetrate, right? So that's what I was just shown there, flashed. And so I'm going to read that again. The second weakness in their methodology is that of feeding upon the negative energy that is created by the competition that is encouraged within their organization. They're encouraged to shiv each other in the back to see who can get to the top. When a weak link or defection is found or manufactured within the members of their groups, there is almost a fleeting frenzy upon that departing energy. It is far more satisfying to them than the same event happening to one of the uninvolved human beings. There is more of their own energy to feed the void of separation that must be maintained in order to continue on their path. They do, quote, eat up the competition of sporting events. I've heard that before, that there are some people who don't like to attend sporting events because of the energetic feeding frenzy that they can feel that takes place at these venues. It is this point of clandestine divergence of purpose that is the major object of our attention. This opportunity is just that, our opportunity. Many scenarios to use this to our advantage have been considered. As yet, no exact technique has been established, but several possibilities would accomplish the exact effect necessary. What we are saying here is that though your spearheading action is the key in the lock, there are forces at play here that are stacked up behind a dam that holds back energies that dwarf your ability to imagine them. Do not underestimate the importance of your role, however, for it is the trigger that releases this energy buildup. The forces of creation are hardly impotent. However, they must work within the laws that create and maintain all of creation, the magnitude of which only the energies that allow the potential for creation can encompass. It is as if there is a holding of the breath until your free will participation begins the shift in the flow of energies. We, on the one hand, must encourage and guide you in your desire to fulfill your purpose and assist you to be ready to act so that you can participate in the flow of events that will manifest as this flood of energies is released into movement. This Thus, we are something like your sports coach, always with our game plan, but having to adjust and figure ways of compensating for the fluctuations in your synchronistic interactions, the movements and intentions of the adversary forces, and the free will aspects of manifested experience. Okay, so hold up a second. I'm being flashed the ship, okay? All right, so in a multidimensional reality, we exist in many levels and layers, and the dreams and visions and sharings of others who are have opened themselves to seeing these sorts of things, right? Um, have talked about being in meetings where there's a lot of not just negotiation, but okay, this over here, so now we need to do this over here, and there's like this a big production going on behind the scenes because exactly of all of that, the free will involved. Wow, I was just flashed all of that, all of what takes place up there. So I'm going to read that again. Thus, we are something like your sports coach, always with our game plan, but having to adjust and figure ways of compensating for the fluctuations in your synchronistic interactions, the movements and intentions of the adversary forces, and the free will aspects of manifested experience. And I know, well, Lisa's own guidance has been must be ready to pivot. Can't have any, there is a broad overall trust the plan, right? But it's not it's not the day to day. Now I get why, right? Neither do we have hair to pull out when you surprise us with your personal decisions. See, I knew that was the case. The degree of commitment to the changing of the destiny of the planet from how it is now moving is our only organizational drawing power. The personal motive of the participating individuals is the primary element for inclusion in the beginning consideration of choice of contact. Then other elements of character must be considered. Quote, blabbermouths must, of course, be excluded, but they are not likely to be, quote, available. Okay, so I'm sorry, but that's funny to me because I am a blabbermouth, and I have said before that I don't bring back intel for that very reason. I'm too open, authentic, transparent, too quick to share whatever I'm feeling, thinking as my truth, as I am on a quest to get to know myself. So I gave up being frustrated at not getting intel a long time ago because I feel that dreams are intel, right? I know I'm having them because I have vague feelings of being there, of talking to people, of doing things. And sometimes when I first wake up, it's almost as though I was dropped in too quick, and I do have some of that, but it fades so very quickly. There's not even time to reach for anything to write. And I know I'm not supposed to now. So that is too funny to me. The last statement may seem a bit crude coming from our dimension of allowance. However, it is necessary to make that point clear. Well, my inner guidance actually talks to me that way. So I get what they're saying. I'm a blabbermouth, I know, and I don't care. It's kind of funny to me because it's just part of who I am. And so that's all right. There's all kinds of roles to be filled in this, right? It's only somebody else's opinion as to whether or not that's a good thing or a bad thing. Right? So, back to the book. There are many levels of information yet to be considered. until the primary contacts and discussions are begun. It would be impossible to go further with a cohesive formation of directions for you. There are no planned shots in the dark, so to speak. Even your contributions to the totality of this change in your reality must fit within the confines of the laws of this universe and of creation. The law of attraction is at the foundation of all other laws. You shall see this in the coming together of the essential beginning groups and in the final assembly that shall be the cornerstone of this new evolution of experience. Within this pregnant combination of consciousness shall this conception and movement into the birthing process be possible. It is often quoted that there are no accidents. However, the free will ingredient within the evolutionary process certainly contains the seeds of both endless diversity and the leavening of the mix. We come to the end of this portion of our continuing dialogue as this process proceeds in an accelerating mode. Your days are blessed with synchronicity and healing. Love and light are showered upon you in great amounts in appreciation of your commitment. Wow. Okay, so we will begin next time on page 56 with session number 16. So thank you for your lovely focus and attention. And I hope that you will continue to move toward that which brings you joy in each moment that presents itself to you. And we'll be right back with the next two.